Okay.
Okay. What was your question pertaining to there?
So that was pertaining to the police report section that I read previously.
Okay. So, well, maybe I should have had you did this earlier, and I apologize for that. But would you mind just reading your question out loud and then Miss Novak's answer for me, please?
Sure. And then, so with the police report, I'm just going to read this to you. On page 41 of the Columbia County Police Report, it states, I was advised by multiple CCI staff administration that there had been an ongoing internal investigation that had just begun involving civilian kitchen employee Holly Zimdahl, as information had been received that Holly Zimdahl was having a sexual relationship with inmates inside the facility, to include sexual activity occurring in the kitchen area cooler. I was also advised that information had been obtained and that Holly Zimdahl was possibly bringing controlled substances and possibly a cell phone into the institution, which were then passed to inmates in the kitchen. One of the inmates implicated in this was inmate JN, as being the recipient of the controlled substance and then delivering them on his unit. So who would have reported that to the police? Like all that we have all that evidence was there. And the response was, that's a good question. Well, I would have to believe it would be Captain Pitson, because he is in contact with Columbia County.
Okay. And then after that question and answer, it looks like a break was taken in the questioning, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So now I want to direct your attention to question and answer 78. And I guess I'll just have you, could you just read that question and that answer out loud for me, please?
Sure. It is 02:14. We are back from break, and we were just talking about the police report and who would have reported that information to police, and kind of what information was known and compared to what was said here. And the response was, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I might say Pitson, I'm speculating, but that information was not known to me. And it says administration, but I told you that I knew of her and it was not that stuff. I would just like to add that as a warden, unfortunately, I have to make the decisions on a regular basis and put people out on administrative leave. And I've done it numerous times, and I've never, been questioned or told that I don't have sound judgment, that I'm not following protocol, that I don't know when to put someone out or when. If you could scroll to the right just a little bit. When to put someone out or when I need to. I do it on a regular basis.
Okay, thank you. Judge, if I could have you now, it's in the same exhibit, number 12. Go down to page 867 for me, please.
All right, where respondents, no, it didn't go. Okay, I thought I had gotten it, but it didn't work. All right, we're on respondents 867, response exhibit 12, and page 867. And go ahead.
Judge, I believe this is just a 2-page. If you could just scroll down, I just want to make sure he has an opportunity to see what this is.
It looks like it's it.
Yep, and if you could just go back up to 867 for me, please, Judge.
All right, there we are.
Mr. Soneberg, do you recognize this document?
I do.
What do you recognize it to be?
I believe this was correspondence between Captain Kevin Pitson and Columbia County Sheriff's Department.
And you ultimately were the recipient of this email string, correct? Or you sorry, go ahead. You respond.
I obtained it in some way throughout my investigation.
Okay. And Judge, if you could go down to page 868 for me, please.
All right, we're on page 868.
I think I need to get you to go down just a little bit farther, Judge, sorry. Right there is fine, Judge. So at the very bottom of this page, Mr. Soneberg, can you tell me what's being discussed in this email?
The subject is an incident report, which I would assume would be corresponding to a Columbia incident report. And it's from Kevin Pitson to Columbia County Sheriff's Department, stating that there was drugs found at the institution.
Okay, Judge, can you just scroll up a little bit? I think a little bit more, sorry. Let me see. I apologize, Judge. If you could just scroll up a little bit more. Or, I'm sorry, maybe a little bit down. A little bit more.
Tell me where you're going.
Well, I'm not sure. I think I mistyped it, so I'm unfortunately, if I can't find it quickly, we can move on. This is not critical, but if you could just move down just a little bit more for me. And a little bit more. And maybe to the next page. Okay, you know what? It's not critical. I'll just move on. So going back to that email that addressed the marijuana, and Judge, maybe you want to just move it back down to that, because my question is going to be, what date was that email sent?
April 2nd, 2020.
So from this, can you tell what day the marijuana was found?
According to the context of the email, it was yesterday, so it would have been April 1st, I'm assuming.
Okay. Judge, in the same exhibit number 12, if I could have you go to page 480, please.
All right, we're on Respondent Exhibit 12, page 480.
Mr. Soneberg, do you recognize this?
I do.
What do you recognize it to be?
This is a witness interview with Lucas Weber that took place on May 28th, 2020 with myself and Matt Polson as the investigators.
Okay. Judge, if I could have you go down to page 490, please. I'm going to be looking at question and answer 108.
All right, we are 198. You said 480, correct?
Yes, and I'm looking at question and answer 108 first, please, Judge.
Oh, okay.
So directing your attention to question and answer 108, could you read the question and the answer out loud for me, please?
Yep. So it says, okay, when were you first made aware of potential misconduct in the kitchen involving Holly Zimdahl? And the response was it would have been around mid-April prior, probably prior to the 10th, so beginning to mid-April.
And then directing your attention to question and answer 109. Could I have you read that question and answer out loud, please?
Yep. So it states, what were those concerns? The answer being just that we had there was a lot of marijuana being found on unit 8 and 9. 8 and 9 are the kitchen workers, or where the kitchen workers live. We had started an investigation as to look at the potential.
Potentially?
Yeah, sorry. We had started an investigation as to look at the potentially coming from the kitchen. So we started watching video and then began to see her going into coolers with inmates on a routine basis.
Thank you. Judge, in the same exhibit, could you please now go to page 843 for me, please?
All right, we're on response exhibit 12, page 843.
Mr. Soneberg, based on what you can see right now, do you recognize this document?
I do.
What do you recognize it to be?
This is a witness interview with Kevin Pitson, which took place on April 23rd, 2020, with myself as the primary investigator and Matt Polson as secondary.
Okay, and Judge, if you could just scroll down or go to page 845 for me, please. I'm looking at question and answer number 22.
All right, we're on question 22, you said?
Yes, please.
We're on respondents exhibit 12, page 845, question 22. Go ahead.
Mr. Soneberg, could you just read that question and answer out loud for me, please?
Yes. Can you please scroll to the right a little bit?
1 second.
Thank you. Okay, so you up until prior to that, was Mrs. Imdahl ever brought up or anything, or was that you were kind of notified, you started looking into it, and then COVID happened and everything, and put everything on hold? And the response was, yeah, basically, inmate TR, when I investigated with the Kennedy Reed thing, he started talking about her.
Okay, and now let me direct your attention down to question and answer 24. I don't know if you need to scroll down just a little bit, Judge. Okay. Can you read that question and answer out loud for me, please?
Yep. Okay, was contraband an increasing issue in the institution? And the response was, no, I wouldn't say increasing, not per se, prior to me being at home. I will say that concerns that they were calling me talking about a large amount of marijuana being found once we were under lockdown, once visits had been suspended, which was concerning.
Okay, and then can you just briefly or quickly read question and answers 25, 26, and 27 for me, please? They're not very long.
Out loud?
Yes, please.
Okay. Sure. Okay. I mean, one could assume that visits are shut down. Correct. The answer is correct. That limits the amount of ways that it's coming in the institution. The response, correct. Yeah. Okay. Pretty certain that it's going to be a staff related. And at this point, it was probably 2 weeks ago. So we then locked down for at least a month, probably. I'm not positive, probably about a month at that point.
Okay, so based on that, they essentially found marijuana in the institution during the lockdown for COVID. Did I sort of summarize that accurately, or how would you summarize it?
They were finding marijuana after they were locked down, which was concerning.
Okay. Judge, if I could have you go to exhibit 12 again, page 480.
All right, we're on respondents exhibit 12, page 480. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I think I
Did I say to hear
Yeah.
you wrong?
No. You did. I'm just checking my notes here real quick. I may need to just skip ahead real quick. Okay, yeah, I'll skip ahead. I'm sorry. In the same exhibit, though, then could you go to page 182 for me, please?
All right, we're respondents exhibit 12, page 182.
Mr. Soneberg, do you recognize this document?
Yes.
What do you recognize it to be?
This is the summary of conduct for Sue Novak's investigation.
And who drafted this?
I did.
And does the summary contain recommended rule violations?
The written summary does not.
Okay. Do you believe that the summary is accurate?
Yes.
Do you believe the summary adequately supports any recommended violations that were issued in this case?
I wrote my summary based on the facts of the investigation. I didn't make any determinations on work rules or have any opinion on work rules.
Okay. And when you were conducting this investigation, did anyone pressure you in any way to reach a particular outcome during the course of that investigation?
No.
Do you believe that your investigation was thorough?
Yes.
Do you believe your investigation was fair?
Yes.
Is it important for your investigation to be both thorough and fair?
It is.
Why?
Well, investigations are meant to find the facts and report those accurately for everyone involved, for the staff involved, for administration, for the public, for everyone. So it's imperative that these investigations are accurate, complete, and fair.
And once you're done with your investigation, does it go through a review process?
It does.
And during that review process, is it possible that the reviewers could send it back for additional investigation?
It is.
Okay. Did that happen in this case, you recall?
Not that I recall specifically, no.
Did it go through the review process?
It did.
Okay. Judge, that's all I have.
All right, stop sharing here. All right, Mr. Cross, how long do you think you're gonna have, and do you need a break? You're muted, so I can't hear you. Still muted.
Yeah, sorry. So I give me like 5 minutes, and I hope we won't go past 12:30. I think it'll be less than that.
All right,
Sure.
let's go to, it's 11:23. Let's go to 11:30 and
Right.
start again at 11:30. All right. thank
Judge,
you.
if I could just raise one point. So I assume after this cross-examination, we'll take lunch. I'm just trying to get a sense of when the next witness should be, prepared to log on.
Right, I was planning to take a lunch like we did yesterday, just a half an hour. Is that gonna be okay with you, Mr. Cross?
Yeah, yes, but whatever we can
Okay.
do to get through today, it would be I'm willing to do.
Okay, so,
I really think we can get this done today. So I'll start working on getting the next witness available, and we'll
Appreciate it.
start working
All
on
right.
that now.
Good.
okay, thank you. 11:30, come back, mute yourself, stop your video and wait. I'll come back to you later, and 11:30.